70% of Jamaicans want a say in how they choose a president after the British monarchy is removed. This is Undiluted News, Mikey Bones reporting. As Jamaica prepares to possibly remove the British monarch as head of state and transition to a republic, a majority of Jamaicans are indicating that they would want to have a say in how a ceremonial or executive president is selected. The Constitutional Reform Committee has been meeting to decide on the proposed changes to the Constitution for Jamaica to transition to a republic. In the latest RJR Gleaner Don Anderson poll, 70% of respondents indicated that should the country decide on a ceremonial president, that figurehead should be chosen by the Prime Minister in consultation with the people. According to pollster and head of Marketing Research Limited, Don Anderson, 7% said the Prime Minister and opposition leader should agree on who should be the president. Another 13% of respondents said they did not care. The Education Ministry is reporting steady progress in recruiting teachers for the system following gaps created by teachers' migration. Education Minister Favour Williams said just over 100 new teachers have been recruited since the ministry's previous update, putting the total to 1,264 new teachers that have entered the classrooms for the year 2023 to 2024. Minister Williams re-emphasized that the ministry would be taking steps to ensure that all teachers hired in September are paid before the end of the month. The Ministry of Education had reported that 854 teachers tendered their resignations between January and September of this year. And in the Beachy Stout murder trial, a former employee of the Portland businessman testified that his former boss had evidence that his second wife was cheating on him with a policeman to whom she was sending nude pictures. The witness, who previously described himself as the businessman's right hand, said his ex-boss had threatened to kill the policeman after seeing the photograph. The witness, who had worked at Mr. McDonald's supermarket, recalled on occasion when the businessman summoned him and another senior security officer to his office, where they went through several raunchy photographs of his wife Tonya in 2020. The witness recalled that Mr. McDonald said, "Look at them, ya disgrace ya she put me through." When asked by the prosecutor if he knew why the businessman was saying that his wife had disgraced him, the witness said because the woman was naked in all the photographs. Aside from Mr. McDonald's constant complaint about his wife being unfaithful, the witness said his former boss also complained that the woman was being lazy in the supermarket and was not keeping their house clean. Mr. McDonald and his co-accused Oscar Barnes are on trial for the July 20, 2020 murder of his wife Tonya. Tonya's partially burnt body was found with her throat slashed inside her car along a deserted road in Sherwood Forest in Portland. The court also heard on Wednesday that a Portland businessman had reportedly ditched his plan to shoot and kill the policeman, who he claimed was having an affair with his wife, and instead came up with a new plan to disfigure the man's face. The witness testified that McDonald told him he was going to burn up the policeman after accusing the cop of reporting him for a threat. The witness said the businessman, after sending him to purchase a corrosive substance, asked him to pour it onto his hand, but he said he was afraid and started trembling. He said Mr. McDonald got upset and shouted expletives, urging him, "Pour the substance." According to the witness, he couldn't remember if he complied or if McDonald poured it himself on his hand, but he remembered that after the liquid was poured onto Mr. McDonald's left hand, he started flashing his hand as it burns him and ordered him to get water to pour onto his hand, as his hands was burning him. According to the witness, Beachy Stout told him that the corrosive substance was to deal with the police boy. "Me can't shoot him again, so me I go get somebody to deal with him face, make she and him live with one another when me done with fair face too." The witness, while recalling that McDonald had also told him that he was going to burn up his wife's face, became emotional on the stand and was then given time to regain his composure. A 48-hour curfew has now been imposed in sections of Grants Pen in the St. Andrew North Police Division, and this follows the death of 4 men during attacks by gunmen over the weekend. The curfew began at 6 a.m. on Wednesday and will remain in effect until tomorrow, Friday, September 29th. The Portland police have recovered 2 Glock pistols, including one which was stolen from a pastor and justice of the peace in St. Mary last week, Thursday. 3 men are in custody in relation to the seizure, and the third is the man who stole the pastor's gun. Superintendent Lloyd Darby, commanding officer for the Portland Police Division, said targeted operations were conducted on Sunday and Tuesday in Shrewsbury and Bybrook, where 22 rounds of ammunition and the 2 guns were seized. A man who was on the police most wanted list after being linked to a spate of murders in several parishes was shot dead in a police operation in Old Harbour, St. Catherine yesterday morning. He's 26-year-old Daniel Farquharson, otherwise called Fry Eye, of Sukuba Gardens in Old Harbor. Farquharson, who was being sought for at least 10 murders, was fatally shot at his house sometime after 6 in the morning during a major police operation. And it's reported that a police team went to the house in Sukuba Gardens in search of Farquharson, who had been linked to killings in St. Catherine South, St. Catherine North, Clarendon, and St. Andrew Central Division. And it's further reported that on entering the house, the police held onto a male occupant. The cops were reported questioning the man when they came under gunfire from the fugitive who was hiding in the ceiling of the house. The policemen returned fire and Farquharson fell from the ceiling. A Glock pistol was taken from him. The lawmen also seized a second weapon and several rounds of ammunition which was hidden under a mattress in the house. The second weapon was found inside a bedroom occupied by a 24-year-old woman who also sustained a bullet wound to the leg during the gun battle. On to sports. Manning Cup defending champions Jamaica College clipped Kingston Technical 2-1 in action from their Manning Cup competition on a day where several games were called off due to the bad weather. JC threw goals from Dillian John and Jamoy Ennis prevailed in the contest. Kingston College edged Charlie Summit 1-0 to remain on top of Group A. The group's other clash on the day between hosts Calabar and Hydel was postponed. Elsewhere, Mona High remained perfect by drubbing Edith Dalton 6-0, while Haile Selassie got by Elton 1-0. And the match between St. George's College and Jose Marti was called off due to rain. In the Costa Cup, St. Elizabeth Technical recorded the widest margin of victory in the Costa Cup match yesterday, hammering Sydney Pagan 9-1. Elsewhere, former champions Cornwall College defeated St. James High 2-0 to stay unbeaten in Zone A and remain on top of that zone. Also in that zone, Irwin High blanked Malden 2-0. Meanwhile, many-time winner Rossi's brush aside Cambridge High 4-0, while Froome blitzed Merlin Otis 7-0. St. Mary High tagged St. Mary Technical 3-2, while Morant Bay outscored Robert Lightburn 4-2, and Wycliffe Martin hammered Karen Hall 5-0. And don't forget that the best Manning Cup and the Costa Cup reports takes place on this radio station. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a wonderful day. I gone.